From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Cummins.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Cummins. Coming up on today's show, the mailbag cometh. Folks making the case for 9+ wins. The quarterback being an absolute revelation. But this season is not going to go the way any of us thinks, right? Wake Up Warchant is presented by Cummins. Follow CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. I got the C on my chest. Not a captain. I'm just simply a fan of Cummins. You'd find out, too, if you had one of their portable power products. I still got that portable power station. I think they've phased that out, but I'm going to get one of these generators on wheels. Maybe I'm going to have a burner account and post a question and give myself the dub and then see if I can get my name picked in the wheel of names when we do a giveaway. Maybe we'll do a giveaway of another generator. Maybe we'll do another tailgate giveaway. The world is our oyster because Cummins is great. They help us out, and they make a top-of-the-line product. Find out for yourself. CumminsLifestyle, all one word. Warchant.com. I think we do a pretty good job, too, over there. Come join us. 75% off an annual membership. Take advantage. I've had a couple people that have messaged me, Corey, about joining up, and they're like, "Oh, I haven't got my gift code yet." I'm like, "It's going to take like a week or two for the Garnet and Gold gift card to hit you, but just stick with us. We've had so much good positive response. We've added a bunch of members. Welcome back, a lot of you. You shouldn't have left us, but smart time to rebound." With the 75% off sale. Take advantage of it. Not sure how much longer it will last. Corey Clark, I'm not sure much, I was going to say something stupid, like not sure how much more our partnership is going to last. Right. Hopefully, this is crazy. So we're going to be entering football season 8 together doing this show, I think.
Had a couple of good ones out of those.
We did.
The previous 7. I would say some good times. Not a lot of good seasons, but a couple. Yeah, and look, I apologize to everybody watching on YouTube. I just can't get comfortable in this stool. I'm trying. Well, I think we're ordering some. We got some on the way. So hopefully by next week, by game week, I'm going to have a real microphone, we think, and also maybe a real bar stool that I can sit back and relax and just maybe I'll even have a cold one.
All right. So, is it going to be a proper bar stool, or are you going to get like a nice desk, like task chair that's like elevated with like a leather, like curved back and all that ergonomic stuff?
Don't know yet. Okay.
I
think that's Stephanie's decision. I haven't really, but I feel like it'll be just a regular bar stool. We're not going to go crazy. Come on. We're simple people. We're simple people, Aslan.
Yeah. I feel like today's show is going to be split into 3 maybe distinct parts. Maybe we'll talk about Herb Hand real quick here for a minute or two, and then we got the mailbag to get to. A lot of folks, positive, feeling good. What needs to happen for 9 wins? Why wouldn't they win 9 games? Look at what they've got. Look how much better they've become. Okay. We'll get to that as we start the mailbag here in a little bit. But Herb Hand, Nate Pabst. To me, I feel like it's always Nate Pabst. There's been something about him. I'm like, he looks familiar. I feel like he looks like he's Scott Frost's nephew. For some reason, I've got like Scott Frost, Nebraska, now UCF head coach, back in Orlando head coach vibes. Nice quote about Chimdia and Weewoo giving a crap.
Yep.
And then you asked Nate Pabst.
He has a high give a crap factor.
Yeah. So I should have probably queued that up, but I did not. What were your takeaways from Herb Hand on Wednesday, Corey?
Yeah, I know some people might not be excited because he's like, nothing is set in stone, and we still got – he kept saying 10 days left to figure out who the starting 5 is going to be or who's going to be in the rotation. Look, I think what he's saying to us and what reality is, I think, are 2 different things, or could be. I don't know that that's true. But I would be stunned if he doesn't know who his starting 5 is likely going to be. That said, I don't know who the starting 5 is going to be. I mean, is it going to be Bowling, Otto, both? Like, it's hard to know. The way he talked about Bowling, it sure sounds like he's part of the plans. Otto, not so high a praise. So then it's like he's a leader. They challenged him to be a leader, and that's great. But okay, how's he playing? It sounded like Bowling he was a little higher on. But yeah, look, it's going to be 5 new guys, no matter who it is. It's going to be 5 new guys. Otto has started 1 game in his career. And so we'll see if he makes it or who else makes it. I think I wasn't. To me, he seemed confident-ish. How would you put that? But he's an old, grizzled veteran, man. He's not going to be panicking if he doesn't think they're going to be very good. And even if he thought they were going to be really good, I don't think he's going to be out there beating his chest saying how awesome they're going to be or how awesome they've been. I think Herb Hand is kind of Herb Hand.
I feel like we got a little bit of disappointed Herb Hand last year at times, just about not having everybody available.
Yeah.
But they played well. I didn't get a sense of any of that stuff. It felt very, I like where we're at, but I'm not going to tip my hand too much. You know, he was talking about, Paps being the most consistent guy, but I'm not ready to crown anybody.
Yeah.
After he talked about Inwiwu being a guy that strains, loves practicing, kind of a couch. It was like, but he also needs to get better at anchoring.
Right.
And it's like, sorry, man. Like, I think he said something about Otto too, like Otto, great leader. Like he's taken up that challenge they've given to us. We've given to him, but he needs to work on his hand placement. It's like, okay. I mean, he's a coach. He's always going to push these guys to get better. I do think he likes, who he has, but I think the chemistry thing is something that even him that's been in the game for so long can never truly really know at this point until they play a game, like a real game. And that's not going to be next weekend. It's going to be the following Monday.
Yeah, but I think New Mexico State counts, though. Like, not that it counts as a great feather in the cap if you win that game, which you should. I think, what are they? Do they have the spread on that yet, Aslan?
31.5 points.
Ooh, Aggies. So, look, you're supposed to win that game. You're supposed to win it big. I don't think it's going to tell us a ton about it, but it'll tell. We'll get some. We'll be able to, discern something from those four quarters. And I think we'll be able to see what this offensive line could potentially be. But, yeah, the bigger tests are coming down the road for sure, but it doesn't mean that what they do on that Saturday night doesn't mean anything. But I think that to me it feels like there's three automatics. The way he just talks and the way we've heard is Chaplin, Welch Joyner, the transfer from Auburn/Purdue.
Although apparently he was banged up a little bit. I'm mildly concerned that Norvell volunteered that, but I thank you for doing that, Mike. But I'm not overly concerned.
Yeah, and even if he's it's not a season ender.
Yeah.
So even if he does miss New Mexico State, he'll be back for the big ones, you would think.
I'm not trying to say that he would. It just he apparently has either been dealing with something or maybe missed a day or two. But we haven't heard anything about it being something's going to cost him a game. Sorry.
And then the Paps kid, who came from where again? Where's he from?
Bowling Green.
I keep wanting to say Miami of Ohio, and I know that's not right. But Bowling Green started a ton of games there, 35, 36, 38, something like that. And when I asked, because it was unsolicited in that, when Herb Hand was praising him, not that this is a surprise, it sounds like Paps has probably been, he's certainly the most experienced and has probably been the best offensive lineman they have. I asked him, who's been your best, most consistent lineman? And he's like, that's like having to pick your favorite child. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to be like, I only have an only child. But if I had three, I'm pretty sure I'd have a favorite. You know what I mean? Like, you love them all, but you have one that you're probably a little more proud of or thinks he's a better person than those other two right now. And so he did end up answering it, and he said that Paps has probably been the most consistent and the best from start of camp till now. So that's where you are. Again, not overwhelmingly talented. I trust in this offensive line coach to put together a product of, sounds like they got 8-9 guys that could play, that he just mentioned at least, that wouldn't be abject horror shows if they got in the game against good teams, that out of that 8, he can find 5 that can play well enough together to do some things on offense. You hope.
All right, let's try to figure this thing out, and that is life. And it's also the mailbag. Everybody, brought to you by our great friends over at Cummins. Let's see who's going to be generating the discussion for us this week. Let's start off here. We got a lot of positive. Let's try to maybe keep a couple of these together. We got our guy Bakari, Big B7034. Good day, gentlemen. We are less than 2 weeks away from football games actually being played. We can finally see what this team is made of. With that said, 3 things in your opinion that have to go right for this team to reach 8 wins or more. What has to go right for them to reach the playoffs? My goodness. Our guy Aaron P. Two-parter. First off is the most important, he says, is the live show coming back next week for game week.
Oh, is it?
I think so, Corey.
Okay. All right.
I think
Nice.
so.
Good. You got the air horn loosened up? Nice. And the Dion hit?
Do not.
Oh, no. No more Dion.
Can't trick me into that one.
No more Dion.
He's looking at the schedule through rose-colored preseason glasses. I do not think 9-3 is off the table entirely. We have extremely dynamic receivers, an offensive line coach who will put together something solid, a quarterback who could very well be awesome, a stout defensive line, improved linebackers, more DBs than most universities would know what to do with, and a punter who looks to be kin to Thor. Am I crazy for thinking 9-3? So what are the three things they need to do to win 8 or more games, which would get them to 9-3? And how crazy are those things going to be, Corey?
Look, I don't know if you score more than the other team. Like I'd be flippant. I'm not trying to be flippant. What has to go well during this season for this Florida State team? Look, if you've got 9 wins, you're in the playoff hunt. That you're not getting there, but that means you were 1 or 2 wins away from getting there. I think that you have to be lucky with injuries. Your best players have to stay healthy. They just have to. You lose Deuce. You lose Chris Jones for a month. You lose Ashton Daniels, perhaps. I mean, the season could go off the rails really quickly. And that goes for many teams, but especially this one. I do think there's some legitimate high-end talent on this team, like top-end talent, but I don't know that there's enough behind it that you can just weather the storm and be like, oh, we don't have Deuce and Danzy this week? Like the 2023 team beat Pittsburgh without Jaheim Bell, Johnny Wilson, or Keon Coleman.
Correct.
But they had an awesome quarterback who threw for a career high in that game. They saw Trey Benson, and they had that defense that after the first quarter just suffocated that Pitt team. They don't have that this year. They can't withstand injuries like that and even beat an average team. And that Pitt team was, I think, below average. So injury luck is one. I think that somebody has to level up into a superstar. I don't know who I'm talking about. I consider Deuce almost one, so he's off the table. Somebody else, whether it's Chris Jones, the Desirs, Jabril, Uzmain, Danzy, Boggs, somebody has to level up and be a household name and one of the best players in the conference. You know what I'm saying? I think you just need more special. In your quarterback, I certainly wouldn't say he's awesome or has a chance to be awesome, but he's got to be better than he's ever been. And if all that happens, you get lucky injury-wise, you have more than Deuce become superstar talent. Hopefully you have 3 or 4 guys that are just legitimate game changers, and then your quarterback is good. That's how you can get to 8 or 9 wins. This schedule is hard, but it's not impossible. It's still the ACC.
I mean, hard to argue against any of that. Hard to really add to the conversation other than I think just because of resource allocation, not necessarily saying they need to be a superstar or superstars, plural. But, yeah, they, I think, are compensating the Desirs in a way that would be, the way you would treat a player of the caliber of like a Jeremiah Smith. And I'm not saying like dollar for dollar, but like they prioritize those guys. Yeah. Man, you need to play at a very extremely high level consistently to make this whole thing work. Because if they can't be disruptive, for as good as the defensive backs are and as good as the linebackers are, man, there's some good quarterbacks in this league. There's some good coaches in this league. They'll find ways to create things downfield as long as they can run the ball all right. And if you're not disrupting up front with these 2 guys that you put a lot into, and again, PFF wise, I mean, I think Darrell might have graded below 60. Mandrell was 63 or so. And, how much of that was drafting off Darrell Jackson? I don't know. I trust that they're stronger. They're more aware of this scheme. So they'll play better just by virtue of that by default, Corey. But yeah, man, it would be an extreme. I think you could live with Wisner maybe not being the ghost of his 1,000-yard self at Texas. But if those 2 young men just do not perform at a high clip, and I wonder how much news is going to be social media noise, and they're going to feel that's going to trickle down to them because of their holdout or whatever you want to call it. Those 2 guys need to play the way that, as you said, I think in yesterday's show, best case scenario. Like I know it's tough for all of us to have to go out there and be the best version of ourselves all the time, but they've got to.
Yeah, and I think we both think they're going to be good. But are they going to be special and great?
Right.
That's the difference between a 6-7 win team and a 9-win team that maybe gets luck somehow into a 10th win. Is your good players play great, and let's hope that you see some of that.
Herb Hand on Wednesday was saying that he wants them to be I don't know if he said if he wants them or they're planning on being a physical downhill running team, which sounds like the 2022 team, which is what our guy Derek XTQ004 is feeling. He's getting 2022 vibes. He might be in the minority, but he's got a good feeling. I'm not saying we're going to start 4-0, but here are some potential correlations. Transfer running back matched with two talented but unproven guys. You added Trey Benson. You already had Trayshawn Ward and Lawrence Tuafili.
Yeah.
You added Wisner. You already had Cromon Singleton. Your quarterback is known more for his legs than his arm, and he finished the previous season strong. Jordan. In 21, high upsided, talented transfer defensive end has yet to prove anything at the power 4 level. Verse equals Kennedy.
That might be a bridge too far, but hey, that's what we're hoping for. That's best case scenario.
Yeah.
I was with you till that one, but that could still be the case. We don't know. We don't know what Rylan Kennedy's got for us.
Productive transfer linebacker who opted to step up, like Tatum Bethune, going from group of 6 to power 4. Bethune, Chris Jones, transfer safety veteran who looks finally ready to be the leader of the defense. Jamie Robinson will be portrayed by Ashlyn Barker in this film. He's been a while. He's been here for a while, though. Anyhow, in addition, before that season, Mike seemed like he knew something we did not. I think we were all pleasantly surprised at how sharp the team looked against LSU that season. Yes, it took Shaheem to save us. But remember, had we scored those 2 touchdowns when we were inside the 5, the game would have been the same blowout pulled off the following year. Question, what was your favorite moment of the 2022 season, excluding LSU? Trey Benson's kick return to open the game against Boston College. The crowd went absolutely nuts. What say you?
I would say probably
there's only one answer, Corey.
What are you? I was going to say Louisville. What were you going to say?
Man. Jordan Travis was electric against Florida on that Black Friday, man. That was all time. I mean, that wasn't one of the best Florida games, Florida State games, Florida opponent, I want to say. But man, in terms of just back and forth, like that was just an exciting college football game, period. And the things that Jordan did were amazing. And there's a large reason of why we felt so good going into the next season.
Yeah. I just thought I thought that game, that win over Louisville, it didn't end up mattering because they won the next week and then lost 3 in a row. I thought that was just a really, really impressive win. Louisville was good. They're always decent. You're on the road on a Friday night against a good quarterback, and your starting quarterback goes down, and Rodemaker looks awful for the first couple series, and then you find a way to win that game. I thought that was just a really cool moment. It's a cool trip. We saw Alanis Morissette the night before, Aslan. You were there. Went to Churchill Downs, and then on Friday afternoon, and then went and saw Pearl Jam on Saturday. So I guess I'm combining all that trip.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah, we had there was like a meet and greet with the Louisville Seminole Club too, I feel like.
Was there?
Yeah, we went there before kickoff.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We went from Churchill Downs to there to the
very crowded. It was very, very crowded. It was a cool place.
That was awesome. Let's hit the bullseye, Corey. DS or D Schimpf or maybe DS Chimp F4. How long have they been around? They've been around since August 1st, 2022. This is their first ever post.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's see what it's about.
Wake up.
Okay.
How many points per game does Mike Norvell's offense need to average to give FSU the best chance of beating its toughest opponents? SMU, Bama, Clemson, Miami, and Florida.
So is you think he or she is asking like in those games in particular?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, 30.
I mean, 30. You didn't need 30. You didn't need 30 to beat Alabama or Miami last year, or Clemson, or Florida. 20.
But to win all 5 of them,
it's average. Yeah, you're right. You're
going to have one where you score in the high 30s. You're going to have to win a shootout. Yeah, I think 30's a good number. I also don't know what this defense is. We hope it can be decent. We think it can be. Year 2 in the system for a lot of these guys. But yeah, I would still think you're going to have to win a couple of shootouts.
The way I had it played out in my mind, Corey, is that we're going to be like overly positive because we're going to take all these what needs to happen to win 9 games.
Right.
And then, kind of level it off with some of the more cynical stuff. But I don't know if it's going to work out that way because I don't know if we really dove into just how good we feel about this team right now. But maybe we'll get to it as we push back. I'm weird, Corey. I feel like anytime I see somebody talking about how awesome Florida State's going to be, I'm like, whoa, easy. And anytime I see somebody talk about how horrible Florida State's going to be, I'm like, whoa, easy.
Yeah, I'm with you. The extremes. We fight the extremes both ways. And I think when you think about the last time Florida State beat all those teams that were just mentioned, I feel like in those games it was around 30-something points they averaged. That's kind of why I was going with that number. I just think that's a safe number. It's still going to be. They're not winning all 5 of those games. So what do they have to average to win 3 of them?
There you go.
I would
27.
Still say 27. Yeah, high 20s, man. Yeah. I just don't. They're not going to win a lot of games 20-11 or 20-13. I just don't see that. So they're going to give up some points. They have to answer. Their offense should be the strength if you're choosing from those two sides of the ball. Also, something we haven't talked about at all, Aslan, really all offseason, we have no idea what the kicking situation is going to be. Those are points, man. Those matter. And you need a guy that's consistent. When you get inside the 25-yard line, you need to walk away with points. And there were more than a few times last year where that wasn't the case. Speaking of that 2022 season, if you had 2023 Ryan Fitzgerald, that's at least an 11-win team and maybe more.
That's crazy, yeah.
So we have no idea what this kicker is going to be, but if he's good and consistent and makes 85 to 90% of his kicks, that's probably good for another win, maybe 2.
Yeah. All right. So with that said, PJ Knowles 09, since everyone seems to fear that this team will not be much improved, which position group from this upcoming season has absolutely no chance to surpass the statistical numbers from last year?
Oh, none.
Yeah. I see what you're doing. I see what he's trying to do there, Corey.
I would say 0.
Yeah. I mean, what would the answer have been going into 2024? Like I said, there's no way the quarterback's going to have only 2 interceptions.
Yeah, or whatever Jordan's numbers were, the efficiency numbers of your quarterback. Yeah, you weren't going to hit that, and we knew that because we knew who they got in the portal, and he wasn't Jordan Travis. So you knew you were taking a step back there. Kind of the beauty of this offseason and heading into this season is there is no real guarantee that you're worse anywhere, which is an indictment of the team you had last year and the coaching staff, quite frankly. That because I don't think it's a negative that Gus Malzahn's not here. I don't think it's a negative that Tommy Castellanos isn't here. I don't think it's necessarily a negative that Earl Little isn't here or Jerry Wilson. Like there might, and those were all fine enough guys, fine enough people. But I don't. There's a chance they're going to be better at all those places. We knew after 2023, they're taking a big step back here, and here. Obviously, last year wasn't 2023, but I don't know that you could look at a position, maybe offensive line, maybe, but it wasn't like those guys were world beaters either. That you are absolutely convinced, not even convinced, you know in your heart of hearts, and it is absolute stone cold lock that you're not going to be better here. Kicker, quarterback, running back, line, defensive line, linebacker, safety, wherever you want to say, I don't know that there's a place you'd say you're going to be absolutely worse.
See, this question is it's a good question. Maybe it's going to be the one that's generating discussion.
Don't give it away, man.
I know. Who knows? Because I get it. We talk about that last year's team was like an 8 or 9 win roster, but they didn't win 8 or 9 games. So whose fault is it? I can see us saying the same thing about this team if they go out and they play 5-7 again, right? Or maybe not. Maybe we would admit that they played to their level. The tricky thing for me is talking about Gus because I'm with Jeff. I'm not a fan of the Gus Malzahn offense. I mentioned a couple times on the show. I think the 2013 national title game was so much about good versus evil, just in terms of traditional, hardworking, real offense versus smoke and mirrors, nonsense, blocking downfield 4 yards on a pass play, etc. But in a one-off situation, I think I like Gus Malzahn more than I like Mike Norvell. And I don't know if this is a one-off situation. It's a one-off situation with the Ashton Daniels offense. I mean, this is his only season that he's going to be able to play at Florida State. Can they come out the gates? I mean, maybe not come out the gates is not important as finishing, Corey, but, for where they were at, I don't know, maybe hindsight, we can criticize the Gus Malzahn hire, but I don't think it was a bad hire. And I can't say unequivocally that Mike in one season with all these new pieces is definitely going to have a better offense than Gus. Because I think a lot of the things that Gus does that we don't like or we blame at it being overly aggressive. Maybe Mike doesn't go for it, 4th and 8 on his side of the field, but who's to say he would not do that either? So that's a tricky thing too, because quarterback and they're better at receiver. For sure they're better at receiver, but I don't think they're going to be as good at offensive line, but they're probably going to be a little bit better at quarterback. So how does that all, reconcile? Yeah.
And I think, look, you've said it, Jeff said it. I about Malzahn is that I really don't think if you're going to look at the totality of the Mike Norvell offense versus the Gus Malzahn offense or them as play callers, I don't know that you would say that they're taking a step back there either. As bad as Norvell was 2 years ago, I don't think you believe that this is a step back here. And in fact, it might be more physical. It might be a tougher team. It might be you certainly got a better quarterback player. You should. It's an offense that lends itself to quarterbacks making throws. And I don't.
I still think Gus doesn't. He's not going to. You can't be soft and play for Gus Malzahn.
Yeah, but
and we talk about if Randy Pittman makes a catch against Clemson, who schemed that open, man? I mean, not that Mike is incapable of it, but guys got open. Tommy couldn't make the throws. Can Mike get guys as open as Gus did and also have a better quarterback that's going to probably make those things? Again, I know I need to make a decision on this. I don't know yet. I mean, that's what people come to us for, is to make predictions, Corey, but I don't have it.
When you think about Malzahn in the totality of what you saw last year, and I also think you have to add in what in the world was that what was that coaching staff like? What was the chemistry of that coaching staff? Like, legitimately, Malzahn changed the program. All of a sudden, coordinators are speaking when Gus wants to speak. All of a sudden, practices are closed. All of a sudden, the offensive coordinator, instead of taking 25 questions, takes 4 and has no time for any of it. And what's he like with the players? What's he like with the other coaches? Clearly, he was going through some stuff with the family, which I understand. But his foot was never – he was never all the way in. You had an offensive coordinator that was never all the way in, ever. Well, now you have one because he knows his life is on the line. I mean, I'm not dramatic there, but his livelihood is on the line. So this guy is giving you everything he possibly can to make this offense better. When I say this guy, I mean Mike Norvell. He cares more than Gus Malzahn ever did. Now, does that matter? Don't know. But the care factor, the give a crap factor, is much higher in Mike Norvell than it was in Gus Malzahn. Hopefully that translates to, more touchdowns on the road. And I would say this about, it's not his fault that Tommy overthrew these guys or this or that, but those were his guys, man. Randy Pittman dropped that pass. That was a UCF recruit. Tommy Castellanos was a UCF recruit and the guy that Gus wanted to run that offense. So you can't – and he ran it well doing certain things, but that's the price you pay for a Gus offense is it's hard to get a big-time quarterback to come play in it.
What's not hard to get big-time people to come play is bingo or trivia over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. 2475 Appalachia Parkway. I think our guy Aaron P. was trying to be nice and give a plug to the sponsors, but he said, establish your position at Polymarket. Sign up for warchant.com, buy Cummins, and go to Corner Pocket Bar and Grill located at 2275 Appalachia Parkway. I guess I'm not doing it right, Corey. It's 2475 Appalachia Parkway.
Close
CPTallybar.com, the website.
You'll find it.
Are you going to be at bingo on Thursday?
I don't know. Matt Lacerre will be there, though, riding high off Abby's wins from last week. So that'll be nice. I don't know. I talked to Stephanie about it, and I was like, are we going to go to bingo? And she's like, are we bingo people now? Because we don't ever really go there. But or we hadn't until the last month. So I don't know. But I bet you – I'll tell you this, Aslan. At some point over the next few nights, the Clarks will be at Corner Pocket. Stephanie in her wheelchair, Corey not in the wheelchair, rolling her in and rolling her around. Just living life. Living life, good food, cold beer, cold drinks, affordable prices.
Decisions. Power or speed, quality or quantity. How about both? How about all? You don't have to sacrifice anything when you choose Brunt Workwear. You're not only going to get durable, well-crafted, resilient workwear, but also really stylish choices that allow you to go ahead and pivot right from the job site to your kids' activities, running errands, or meeting up for drinks after work. And since Brunt Workwear is geared for you, the real worker, they know you've got no time to waste. You need those work boots to deliver once you get them in the mail and you lace them up. So enjoy the peace of mind of work boots and gear that are ready to go right out of the box. Got that broken and comfortable feeling day one to give you the comfort and security you want. Use the promo code WAKEUP. I'm going to say it one more time. Wake up. It's all one word. Over at bruntworkwear.com to save $10 off your order. I'm going to say the website again, everybody. You ready? bruntworkwear.com. Use that promo code to save $10 off your order. Welcome back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Cummins. Follow CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. We begin the quarterback segment of this show. We're going to do a 3-for-1, Corey, I think. Let me get all this in order here. All right, first off, we start off with the 813 Nole. Hillsborough, stand up. They look like a new subscriber. August 13th, 2026. That's their second ever post.
All right, let's go. Making history today.
Yeah. I'm going to read a bunch of these and then we can sort through it. So wake up. Yes, sir. Don't get me wrong. I like this wide receiver room about as much as Jeff Cameron likes Jeff Cameron.
What a thing to say. Anyway, go ahead.
But none of it matters if Ashton Daniels cannot distribute the football. If Daniels looks like Tommy trying to hit squirrel last year, I might have to start being a productive member of society on Saturdays again. So there's a fear.
Yeah.
I guess it's possible. Summit 2001. Let's go actually to Noles number 1 first. Our guy, Coach B. Hola, amigos. I'm cautiously optimistic when it comes to this team. Since my interception video a few weeks ago, folks thinking I was either being negative or defender of Ashton, I wanted to say that after watching a ton of his tape, if he's actually given time, he's an accurate passer. Even in one of those 3 throws you showed, the interception against Syracuse, he was destroyed while throwing it. So I believe that, yes, he has things to work on, obviously. The onus is on the offensive line to provide him time. Can they? I will also say he has a 9-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio in the red zone in his career.
Wow.
Could have used that last year, he says.
All right, I didn't know that. That's not a ton of touchdowns, but only 1 interception. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. Did we get a steal on Ashton Daniels, Summit 2001 wonders? Wow. His first season at Stanford, he was not amazing, but he did play as a true freshman on a subpar team. Auburn didn't get a lot of opportunity. When he did, he shined. We all know players are allowed to develop, and it may be truer at quarterback than any other position. Imagine if he had won the job at Auburn, played exactly as he did on his last 2 games. If we extrapolate those numbers, he's got a very good season, leads Auburn to several more wins, and is probably one of the top quarterbacks in the portal. Heck, he could be the multi-million-dollar Miami darling that we would all hate to see we have to play against. So because of the limited opportunity, we were able to grab him out of the bargain bin. But it is very possible, even likely, dare I say, he is who he was in those final 2 games. Had he left Auburn with huge numbers and a huge price tag, you could also wonder about his level of motivation. His current situation, I feel we got a quarterback with a chip on his shoulder. Did we just find a deal on a hot rod in an old farmer's garage that has just never gotten the opportunity to run?
So we're just going to talk about Ashton for a few minutes? That's why those were all
pretty much. So I guess we can unpack it and then maybe we'll weave all this stuff in together here. I don't know, man. Like, do you have a fear of him being as inaccurate? I think he might be as inaccurate at times as Tommy, but hopefully he just doesn't make the same bad decisions. Yeah, like the interception against Virginia, like that was a bad decision. You talking Coach B about him getting smashed against Syracuse on an interception he threw. That's not inaccuracy. That's a bad decision. You're about to get laid out. Throw it away, man. Take the sack. Make the right decision. So, some of that might still be in the mix. Maybe Mike can get through to him, have him clear the mechanism. But I don't think his ceiling is as low as Tommy's ceiling ended up being. I think we all thought, if we could be honest, maybe I'm speaking for too many people, or I'm speaking out of line, Core. I think we probably felt Tommy with Gus had a higher ceiling than we feel Ashton Daniels has with Mike right now. But that's, again, if the best case were to work out, which it did not.
Yeah, I would say I think we had a pretty good grasp of Tommy's ceiling. We knew what he was and what he wasn't. He was going to be in a similar offense to what he had run when he was starting for the first year at Boston College. He's going to make some highlight runs. He's going to make you throw your hands up with some throws, and that's exactly who he ended up being. I think what hurt him, obviously, was his ceiling included so much of the running game because he is a legitimately special talent with the ball in his hands, just making guys miss, but he got hurt in that nothing game against Kent State or East Texas, whoever, and the running game wasn't his running ability wasn't special anymore. He was certainly still a runner, but he wasn't a special runner. And if he's not a special runner, then what is this? Got a 5'9" kid that can't throw real well. That's not great. That's not a great recipe. But that recipe with what they used him to beat Alabama, what did he complete 10 passes in that game? 10 or 12, something like that.
12, I think.
Yeah, like 12 of 18. Like it was just the perfect top. That was the game you wanted throughout the season, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't really replicate it.
We lied. He was 9 of 14.
That's what I thought. He didn't even complete 10 passes. But it was there were some big throws. He made some big throws, and he ran for probably 4 or 5 first downs and kept the chains moving.
If you throw out that third down conversion to Squirrel and the Yak Jalen Lucas wheel route to start off, I think the second half, that might have been literally close to 100 yards. So he had 7 more completions for 50 yards almost.
Yeah, and that was probably the best, that in the Florida game. But I mean, I guess that was a good game. It's hard to really know because the defense was doing what it did. I think Tommy, we knew the ceiling, basically what it was going to be. If he stayed healthy, he had a chance to run for close to 1,000 yards, I think, in that offense. But he didn't. The running game was, not non-existent, but not great. This one, I think, I do think that Ashton is probably a more talented thrower of the football. He's certainly bigger, but he's not great. He's not a great runner. He's a good runner. He's not a great thrower. Maybe he's a good thrower, but we don't know that yet. So that's kind of where I am with Ashton. I know as long as he's healthy, just his personality, his care, his give a crap factor, he's going to use his legs to move the chains and get in the end zone. He's going to do that with his legs. Can he beat you with his right arm and his mind? I just don't know that yet. Jordan did. Eventually, that's who Jordan became, much more than the legs guy. I certainly don't pretend to think that Ashton is going to turn into 2023 Jordan or 2022 Jordan. I think a 21 Jordan Travis by the end of that year was pretty darn good. And if that's the Ashton you can get, that's certainly good enough. That's what you're looking for. That, to me, is the ceiling. Like, end of 2021 Jordan Travis. He's just there's too much data for me anyway. There's too much data in two different offenses to think that all of a sudden he's going to become a special player.
Yes.
But he can be decent. Just be decent. Last year was not a decent quarterback. The year before was horrific. Literally the worst in school history. Be decent, and that should lead to, some wins. Decent quarterback play usually does.
Yeah, it's tough to contextualize and give it a proper adjective, but I'm with you, man. Not to put shade on some of 2001's good feelings, but I don't think, bargain, you probably good value. I think you're going to probably get good value out of Ashton Daniels, considering what the quarterback market is and what he could become for you.
Hey, can I make a point there real quick, Aslan? Because I haven't made enough. And I was tired of hearing you talk, and it was time for me to talk again. You understand.
Absolutely.
Listeners, you understand. I think when it comes to those last two games, the point I always want to make is, yes, if he played those last two games, every game at Auburn, if he was allowed to start and he produced like that, yeah, number one, what's his name wouldn't even been fired. He'd still be the coach.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have been in the portal. But I just think what I worry the most about with Ashton Daniels is, man, it is easy to play when nobody expects you. It's easy to play free when nobody's expecting anything from you, and there's 2 games in and you got a lame duck coach, or not even a coach. You have an interim coach. Yep. Nobody expects anything from you. You play fast and carefree. Let's see what happens attitude. Let's go out and just have fun. It is an entirely different thing to be the starting quarterback at Florida State. Even in the Iron Bowl, he knew he was probably not going to be at Auburn after that night. So, again, what did he have to lose? Well, now he's the starting quarterback at Florida State, and there's just a wholly different perspective that comes with that, and I don't know how he's going to handle it. I love the fact that he gets a week 0 game.
Yep.
I think that's great. Just like I thought it benefited Jordan Travis in 22 and that whole offense, I truly think a week 0 game could be something that we're not giving enough credence to how big it might end up being for this team. Anyway, back to your point, Aslan.
No, I was, believe it or not, I was going to try to work back into that in some form or fashion, because I think we've kind of poked around with it the last few weeks talking about Ashton, because we've spent so much time this offseason looking at those 2 games that he played in towards the end of the Auburn season and just, again, extrapolating those numbers into what he could become. I mean, they're a guy who is admittedly like, I was in a flow state, I need confidence, who clearly didn't have a lot of confidence towards the ends of his tenure at Stanford, goes for a fresh start at Auburn and is quickly, cast aside. And it's like, all right, this is the Jackson Arnold show, and watches how bad they are on offense and still can't get in there. I mean, you're going to be questioning yourself. So to finally go out there and play these 2 games in which, nobody expected you to beat Vanderbilt. Nobody expected you to beat Alabama. So you can go out there and kind of play loose. Just think about the amount of times that, Florida would try to play spoiler for Florida State at the end of the season. Those quarterbacks would, pull off something crazy. It's going to be different against SMU, beat SMU, and then the feeling going into that Virginia game. I mean, there's going to be some stuff that's going to, again, he's so smart. It's almost to his detriment, I think, or I think he's such a smart kid. He wants to do well. He realizes that he is the biggest determining factor for whether or not they're going to be good or not on offense. And it's hard to block all that stuff out. And I don't know if he can. That's what gives me the biggest pause. But again, I think there's value there. I think, again, for what you would have had to spend on Lagway or Calandria and what you would have had to sacrifice is not worth having Ashton Daniels and then maybe a couple of the ancillary pieces you were able to add with the leftover money. So I bargain bin, I'm with you. Yeah, good value. I don't think that we just got Joe Burrow 2019, which again, Joe Burrow he was at LSU in 2018 too. It didn't happen overnight. I know Mendoza did, but
the implication obviously from Summit isn't that this is Joe Burrow, but that maybe they bought really, really low and he ends up being better than a lot of guys that cost a lot more money. We can't say that's – and I will say this, going back real quick to that point I was making is, even in that Alabama game, they get down 17-0 out of the gate. And then it's easy – that also takes some pressure off. Like, man, all right, well, this isn't happening. Let's just go have fun. We got 2.5 quarters left with each other. But by the end of the third quarter, it's a real game. And all of a sudden – there is real pressure because there are real stakes. Like, your rival is about to go to the playoff unless you beat them. And now Alabama might not be Ashton Daniels' rival, but that stadium started feeling electric. It started feeling real pressure. You can cut that kind of stuff with a knife when you're in those stadiums. You feel what it is. You can feel it. And he played really well in that fourth quarter with that pressure. Like, I do think once they got into the game and it was close, there did become pressure. And he handled it well. So that also, to counter what I said earlier, that gives me a little bit of hope that he handled the moment. He's never – what was the closest moment Ashton Daniels ever had to something like that in his career? Had to be something at Buford High School. You know what I mean? Like 80,000 Auburn fans, the weight of trying to keep your rival from the playoff and nobody expecting you to do anything. And then all of a sudden in the third quarter, everybody's like, we believe we're going to win this game. Holy cow. This is awesome. We got momentum. And I thought when you watch the replay of that game, I thought Ashton handled himself very well. So hopefully he can handle big boy college football that he didn't get a chance to at Stanford.
Records, Marlin, Miami. Wake up, gents. As the season is on the horizon, it's season prediction time. I believe in true Lost Decade 2.0 fashion, we will start on cloud 9. 5-0 start. Wins over Bama, SMU. Close until the point of no response. And lose 6 of the last games, ending 6-6.
Yeah.
But Mike will be retained because of the fast start, and the administration would like to retain the momentum in recruiting that the fast start brought. What say you I mean, that any momentum would be lost. Those kids can't sign until December. So if you lost 6 games in a row, that's going to be completely gone. Noel Land, or maybe Noel Ian.
Is this tied?
Yeah, it's we're 2 for 1 in it. Okay. Oftentimes it seems like the question is what type of start will get Mike Norvell fired, or at what point of the season do we let him go? My question, what start to the season, or at what point of the season can Coach Norvell earn his way off the hot seat? Is it the record or how we look?
I mean, the easy answer is it's both. But I would say this. I will make a guarantee to my man. There is no world. I'm going to make a guarantee. This is Joe Namath right here. There hasn't been a lot of famous guarantees since then. I mean, Bill Clinton said he didn't have sex with Monica Lewinsky. He pounded the table.
George H.W. Bush said, read my lips.
Yeah, no new taxes.
New taxes.
Yeah, he said that. So there have been some guarantees. But from sports figures that I remember, we still go back to Namath. But I'm going to tell you, without a doubt, if Mike Norvell has a 6-game losing streak this year, he's done. He's done. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter when it comes. Win the first 3, lose the next 6, then win the next 3. He's not surviving a 6-game losing streak. So I don't even know if that was like tongue-in-cheek, that question. I think it probably was. But yes, I wouldn't expect them to start 5-0. But if they did, it will not. If he follows that up with a 6-game losing streak, that would just be the proof that we're all talking about anyway. See, can't handle. They don't respond well. They don't handle adversity well, and they don't handle success well, except for that one stretch with that one quarterback and a bunch of NFL players. The other question about what was the question about the Norvell?
If they go into that Pitt game and they're like in a 2-way tie for second place in the ACC, and then like they lose that, I don't know if they win that game.
No, you're saying though. So you'd feel good about that if they're. When is Pitt? When is that? I know it's late in the season. Is that the second to last game?
Third to last. You got NC State sandwiched between them and Florida.
NC State at home, so that would be their 10th game. So you're saying that Pitt game, if they win it, you're thinking that makes them 7-3, 8-2.
Yeah, 7. Let's say 7-3.
No chance. No chance. He's not off the hot seat. You lose at home to NC State. You even beat NC State, and you look bad and lose to Florida, and you finish 8-4. You're probably safe, but you don't feel like you've. I don't think there's a lot of comfort there, especially not 7-3, 8-2, maybe 8-2.
But I hate doing this. I love you guys, but I hate doing this. But if you are 7-3, Corey, that would. I mean, you're going to have a win. Oh, you're going to have like 2 wins over out of the bunch of like SMU, Alabama, Virginia, Louisville, Miami, and Clemson.
Sure.
Like
but the Florida game has to matter. It didn't matter this past year. It certainly didn't matter in 24. I feel like
didn't matter in 2021.
The Florida game should matter as far as how you judge your coach. And if you're 7-3, that does not guarantee that you're going to go 9-3. So I would think I would say there's as good a chance that you're 7-5 as you are 9-3. So I would say he's still on the hot seat until you see how the Florida game plays out. It doesn't mean you have to beat Florida, you're fired. But if you're 7-5 with a loss to Florida, you should be gone, right? That's my point, kind of. Yeah. In a win over Pitt, to go 7-3 wouldn't guarantee any success the next 2 weeks. I think so. I literally, other than 9-0, even then, 9-0. If he goes 9-0, he's safe. Probably 8-0, but definitely 9-0. That's the only hypothetical I can dream up where I'd be like, oh yeah, Norvell's back for sure in 2027.
But so I hate doing this. If you're 8-0, your 9th game is at BC.
Yeah. Hey, doesn't matter, Aslan. 8-4 is a good season. Don't worry that he finished the season on a 4-game losing streak. You still got the bowl to look forward to.
Football burner. Good morning. Wake up. Many seem hopeful we will be good. Let's begin to expect it. Let's think of the schedule. Week 0, New Mexico State. Diego Pavia is not there to help save them anymore.
Correct.
Which, by the way, I saw people like, we got to take New Mexico State seriously. They walked into Jordan-Hare Stadium 3 years ago and beat Auburn with Diego Pavia.
Yeah, not with whoever was
Trey
the worst quarterback in the country.
Although, again, he's a Florida native. He might maybe pull something, but it won't be. We're fine. I'm not even entertaining it. All right, week 0, Pavia not there. Week 1, SMU, Doak at night. Kevin Jennings has already been to the Kevin Jennings Training Center in Dallas for his finger.
That's true.
Early season, Mike Norvell is better than Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Week 3, at Bama, Mike Norvell's 1-0 against them. Bama's 0-1 against Mike Norvell.
Yeah.
And then week 4, you're playing against his alma mater, the Fighting former Norvells. They should give out cornrow wigs in the student section to honor Mike.
That's a good idea, too.
You should be 3-1 or at the worst 2-2 with a revenge game against Virginia. In my opinion, that is the most pivotal game of the season. A loss there, the train goes off the tracks. A win there, and you can see a world to 8-4 or 9-3. What is your most pivotal game of the season, in your opinion?
Yeah, I've been stuck on SMU. I think most people have for a lot of the season. That is a tough game, but it's at home. You
don't want to lose back-to-back games, right? You don't want to lose back-to-back games in the month of September.
Yeah, look, I would say this, and I know Jeff laughed at it. It's probably mostly no chance of happening, but, I mean, it's sports. You've got to win one of those two. If you lose to SMU and somehow win at Alabama, cool. Well, everything's good. Everything's right on track. You've got to win one of those two. Now, if you beat SMU and then lose to Alabama, cool. You're still about to be 3-1, playing Virginia at home to go to 4-1 and 2-0 in the ACC. The last time it's been 3 years since they've won 3 ACC games total the last 2 years. And they'd already be 2-0. So that's why I think SMU is such a big deal, because at Louisville is a bear. Every road game for this team is a bear. So this program right now. So you've got to win your home games. That's a tough game against a good team on national television. I mean, they're all on national television, but you know what I mean. The whole country watching. It's a
standalone game. Yeah.
That I just think that is the most pivotal. I think it dictates the season. In that, if you win it, it doesn't guarantee anything. I don't see a scenario, and I would love to be wrong, freezing cold take on this, that if they finish the first 3 games 1-2, that the season is anything but a failure.
Oh.
In that, I don't think they're going to rebound. I don't expect them to go rip off 8 wins out of the last 9 games. It's too hard a schedule. Florida at Miami, at Louisville, Clemson, who you never beat and never ever play well against. When has the Florida State offense ever played well against Clemson? Ever. It has not happened. And you've had some serious talent. It does not happen. And it hasn't happened really since Dalvin Cook was the running back. So I don't expect the offense to be flying up and down the field against Clemson, and I don't expect that to be a win until Mike Norvell proves me wrong. That's why I think it's so important to come out of September. If you come out of September with just 1 loss, you have a chance to have a really good season. If you have more than 1 loss, I think it's better odds than not that he's not the coach against Florida.
Yeah, I mean, the Virginia one makes a little bit. It makes a lot of sense, but I'm still with the SMU game because that Virginia
what's the
game.
Schedule after that? Like, even if they beat Virginia, that makes them 3-2, right?
Yes, but the thing is, oh darn it! I just closed out of the tab. Man, I've been really bad this week. I need to get back in the lab, work on my dexterity.
I thought you've been having a good week, Aslan. A good day. It was certainly not a great week, but a good day. I thought you brought it, and then this happened. Another debacle.
Just threw one in the dirt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so if you lose, I mean, listen, you beat SMU. Let's take our questioner's side on this. Let's take football burner's side on it. You beat SMU, or no, you lose SMU. You beat Virginia. I mean, you got a good bit of momentum going into a short week on the road against Louisville.
Yeah.
So like you can salvage things there, even if you lose the SMU game. You know, my argument though is if you lose the SMU game, I don't know if you're going to get right over that off week and then beat Alabama. And then even if you do beat Virginia, short week, Louisville, maybe looking ahead a little bit to Miami too. Like that's, for SEC standards, that is, I guess I'll admit, like that's a little bit tough.
I mean, I feel like SMU was a coin flip game. And I feel like, I feel like the only non-coin flip games to me right now are at Alabama and at Miami. In that you're probably going to lose. I don't know why I keep saying in that, but you're probably you're going to be underdogs, and I don't think anybody right now watching in August expects you to win those 2 games. That's tough, not impossible, but tough. They're not coin flips. Everything else you have a chance to win, a real chance. Also, everything else after the 26th, those next, whatever that is, 9 games, you have 8 games. You have a chance to lose all of them. Yeah. You know what? Virginia just won 11 games last year. Louisville's always good, and they're ranked in the top 25. Miami played for the national championship. Clemson, you never played well against ever. At BC and at Pitt, when have you played well on the road?
Short week, back-to-back road trips.
And then Florida to close it out, and that's another short week. You've got 3 short weeks.
Well, NC State with C.J. Bailey.
Man, I'm telling you, none of those are guaranteed. That's why I'm thinking, start off with your first coin toss, which is the SMU game. Legitimately, I think you have a 51.2% chance to win it. And then see if you lose that game and you're about to go to Alabama, you're probably going to lose that one. You beat Central Arkansas, you beat Virginia. You're still at Louisville and Miami back to back. Yikes. You're 3-2 going to the hardest part of your really tough part of your schedule. So that's why I still say, but if you beat SMU, man, you could have a nice fun season. It could be a fun season.
It's totally lazy, but it just what I'm buoyed by, which keep using that, Corey. I mentioned we're going to get a verdict this year. I think it's easy to say okay, depends on the SMU game. If they win that game, you lose Alabama, it's house money. Who cares? It's not an ACC game. Right. Beat Virginia, start off 2-0. See, there's we're trying to color this season in, and it's easy to play the 7-5 card, right? 50-50 games. Some will go their way, some won't go their way. I really do feel it. I think we're going to find an extreme ending. I think it's either going to be really bad or it's going to be really good. So it's going to, I don't think a 2-2 start is going to be, it's not going to work out that way, man. Something crazy is going to happen. Maybe they start off 1-3, but then rally and claw their way back. Or maybe they start off 3-1, 4-0. I just think we're not going to finish in that 7-5 happy place, or I shouldn't say happy place. Medium. You said the extremes. I want people to understand. Obviously, if you're watching this show and you're listening to this podcast, you're a pretty big Florida State fan, and you're probably a diehard fan, or at least a medium hard fan. Understand that I have not looked it up, but I can guarantee you, much like Clinton, Bush, and Namath from years ago. There's never been another college football program in history, can't be, couldn't have happened, that won 19 games in a row and then immediately followed that up with 18 losses in the next 2 years, essentially, if we count Georgia as a loss. Even if we don't, you don't go from 19 straight wins to 7-17, 7-18. You won 100% of your games for 19 straight games. And then over the next 25 games, you won 28% of them. It's absurd. So I want you to understand that nobody's had to live what Florida State fans have had to live over these last 3 years. I don't think this is common, though. You said the extreme, and I get it, and I understand why you say that. Most everybody kind of lives in the middle. Yeah. Between 5 and 9 wins. Nobody goes 13-0 and 2-10. It does not happen. So that's what I mean. They might go they might win. They go 10-2. They're either it's going to be 3-9 or 9-3. Oh yeah. Well, we don't know, but I just think that when you think about what this fan base has been through, sucks at 9. Sorry, it sucks at 9-3 is the extreme level of success. Hey man, we don't know. 13-0 might be what we're looking at, but just how goofy is it, man? What we've lived. Just take a step back and think about these last 3 years. I want to include the good one too. Where they were and where they are and now where they're trying to get back to. This is it's not even absurd, it's the right word. Uncharted territory. Unprecedented what you fans are having to go through. Hopefully you get a respite this year and you have some calm waters. 8-4 to me is calm. You're holding on to a log, you're in an inner tube going down the river. Not a great river, not a great day. Maybe a little overcast, maybe a little sun shower, but you're in an inner tube in a river having fun. You're not in a grade 5 rapid where you're flipping over and everything's going all over the beach. So yeah, I'd like some calm waters, Aslan. But you're right, it will probably be horrible or surprisingly good. Welcome back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by CumminsLifestyle. Follow it on Instagram, the owning line of portable power products. Top of the line. Give it a look-see. We resume the mailbag, and let's see little quick hitters here, Corey. No Blood at 6. Been around for a long time. 2019, 763 posts. I can't remember seeing No Blood at 6. I remember No Blood at 4 and 9. But not No Blood at 6. Wake Up. How many running backs do we use this year? Does Mike go with a hot hand more than usual, or are we running back by committee and use 6 guys again?
That's another thing about last year in the Malzahn experience is
No. I mean, Mike likes to mix it up too, man.
But he did it like Trey Benson was the main guy, and Ward would come in occasionally. Toafili would come in on certain plays, obviously, but Benson was the guy, and he tried to use them all. There at least seemed to be a rhyme and a reason when he had a decent team to how he rotated his running backs. There was none last year. So I'm of the opinion that it's going to be 3. It's going to be 3 guys. Yeah. I think right now, because I think I asked Herb Hand. I know I asked Herb Hand about it on Wednesday. Just about the running backs and what he thought of them. Wisner was the 4th guy he mentioned, so I don't know how much Wisner's still practicing right now. Again, not a big deal for New Mexico State, but I'm of the opinion now the more we hear about Cromall and the less we hear about Wisner, that Cromall is going to get, 60% of the carries. Wisner and Singleton split up the other 40. Or maybe it's 50-50, but I think Cromall, if he's healthy, is going to be the main guy, and those other 2 guys are going to share the bulk of the carries if they're healthy.
I don't disagree, but they went and got Jamari Sands from the portal. They're going to have some weird package with him in it, and it's probably going to work.
But not a rotation where you're like, oh, okay, that was 3 great runs. We appreciate that, Usman. Take the next quarter and a half off. Norvell doesn't really have an issue with that.
That's fair. Next question. Why am I so off my spot today? Figure it out, Aslan. Bourbon is your friend. We went from running backs. Let's go to the opposite side. Let's go to linebackers. Corey, a couple of weeks ago, I was counting on you to have the movie Braveheart memorized.
Yeah, only saw it once.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I liked it, but it's not like an enjoyable watch. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. It's well done. It's kind of uplifting right there until the very, very end. But you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I watched it once. I enjoyed it. I appreciate it. It's like Dancing with the Wolves. I think I've seen that once. Good movie. It's long, and I probably won't ever watch it again.
I guess when Philip I tried to watch Dances with Wolves a few years ago. I'm like, nope. I mean, I saw it when it first came out. I was like, oh, cool. Because we had this whole Native American module in our elementary school, like learning about the different tribes. I'm like, oh, I'm really interested in this.
Great movie. I really liked it. It's a good movie. It's crazy to me that actress that plays the Native American. Her last name is like McDonald. Yeah. It's like Mary McDonald or something. She's Nick Nolte's wife in Blue Chips. And she was playing a Native American in Dancing with the Wolves. So it's a different time back in Hollywood.
Yeah, Mary McDonald.
Yeah.
Her name was Stands with a Fist.
I don't know her backstory. Maybe her dad was a British soldier or something in the movie, and that was how she looked like that. But, yeah, just that's how it used to be.
All right, so linebackers. Anyways, Philip tries to give Longshanks advice. He responds by saying, who is this person who speaks to me as if I needed his advice, then throws him out the window.
Okay, all right.
Regarding linebackers, I'm glad to hear about the violent mentality, but will Trayshawn Ward be wide open in the flat on 3 straight plays like we saw 2 years ago? Will a tight end or slot receiver wreak havoc on us in the middle for first downs? Will they be so focused on hitting with violence that they don't wrap up and form tackle?
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I do care. You want them to tackle, but I want their first instinct be to inflict damage. Not trying to, they are trying to hurt people, honestly, or at least make them feel them when they hit them. Not trying to, be dirty, but you want a guy to take himself out of the game after you've hit him a couple times. I'm just concerned about that. Look, there are going to be some schematic things that just, 3-3-5s all defenses get exploited. There's no perfect defense. They're all going to get exploited. And yeah, maybe one of them, maybe Chris Jones isn't great in coverage. Well, if he's racking up 11 tackles and sending a running back to the bench into the tent, I'm okay with him not being great in coverage. You've got to know your personnel. And yes, you would like them to be good tacklers. I don't know how realistic that is anymore, man. Nobody tackles. So at least go inflict damage. If you're going to miss a tackle, at least make them bounce 4 yards backwards before they keep their feet and run for a few extra yards. I don't know.
I get the sentiment. I get the sentiment of the question, but yeah, I don't think they're going to be just recklessly biting on every kind of run action and, getting lost in the wash constantly on rub routes. I mean, they're going to get beat a few times. Yes. I mean, I don't think we're going to see the equivalent of the Dome Patrol. Was that the Saints?
Is that what it was called? The Dome Patrol? I didn't
Pat
know that.
Swilling and Swilling
Jackson?
and Mills. They had a really good linebacking core, the Saints, in the 80s.
Yeah, they did. I remember.
I thought they were called the Dome Patrol. Anyways, I could have totally made that up myself, maybe.
I don't remember that at all. You're probably right. There's no way you made that up. It makes sense.
Well, I made it up for them. Maybe
you coined it.
I did not.
With iron sharpens iron. You were coining the Dome Patrol.
The Dome Patrol was the legendary New Orleans Saints linebacking core from 86 to 92. Ricky Jackson, Pat Swilling, Sam Mills. Some dudes.
Ricky Jackson played on that Pitt team that came into Doak in 1980 with Dan Marino as the quarterback. Jimbo Covert was on that team. Hugh Green, who was the defensive end who finished second in the Heisman, was on that team. Bobby Bowden always said it was the best team he'd ever played against, and the Noles beat him that night.
That's right.
My dad got drunk on the Killearn golf course afterwards and celebrated till apparently 4 in the morning. I think he fell asleep in one of the bunkers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Comfortable. Soft sand in those bunkers.
Fun night, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, they'll be all right at linebacker, I think. Austin 19. Who do y'all think FSU ends up adding as the final non-conference opponent for 2027 to replace Georgia? Wait, are we not playing Georgia next year in the Nashville? Is that 28?
I think it's 28, but it was supposed to be a home and home, but they just made it, instead of 2 years, it's just the one. I don't.
2028. Let me go here. Let's see. Let's go to future schedule. I don't think they're going to replace him with a power 2 opponent. Probably whatever the new coach's alma mater is.
So Heartline. So Ohio State. That'd be good. Is everybody down with that? Home and home with Ohio State?
I mean, a future schedule still has Georgia on. Well, that's because that's 28, you idiot.
Come on,
click on 2027.
Oh, you've fallen apart again.
East Tennessee is the only other non-conference game on the slate, and it's going to be the week before Florida, so we got a cupcake before the Gator game. I would think that, I don't know, North Alabama, Charleston Southern. I feel like it's going to be one of those teams.
I mean, I don't know. After playing a bunch of LSUs and Alabamas and Georgias, I don't know that you need to go bite off at Texas Tech. I wouldn't have said that 4 years ago, but we are where we are, so I wouldn't think it'd be another Power 4 school, but I could be wrong. It could be wrong. You're not going to want to go to Lubbock, though. So, you just don't want to do that to your fan base. So you want a home game. So and Texas Tech will not just be a straight home game. So, I have no idea, no clue, but I would think it would be a smaller school so you get the home game.
Yeah. Moving along. Island Chief. Wake up. John Wooden once said, failure is not fatal, but failure to change might be. Is there a change in Norvell's approach to game day or play calling that you think might get him, or rather might net him, the success that he so desperately needs? To that end, how much does it matter that Tom Herman will be in the booth? That was a low-key Ira twofer, he says.
It was, but did Ira ask him about? Maybe Ira asked him about Herman. I don't remember how that came up. But yeah, we did find out earlier this week that apparently Tom Herman will be in the booth. They did some scrimmage stuff on Saturday, and Norvell said that Herman was up in the booth for that. Look, I like those eyes. I like having those eyes up there as opposed to who. Who was up there telling him anything last year? It's nice to have eyes in the sky that you trust. Because you can't, Aslan, you've been on those sidelines. I know these guys, it's their living, and all they do is watch games from the sidelines or from level. But, man, you're not seeing anything on the other side of the field. You can't. It's just impossible, no matter how well you know the game. It is nice to have somebody up there that you can trust, that knows what they're seeing, and could even say something to the point of, hey, man, their corner just went out of the game. Number 19's coming in. You know he can't run with Dancy. Go. Like something that, and he says it with that much conviction. I don't think a GA is saying stuff like that, man. I just don't. I think they know their role, and I think Tom Herman would be something different than that. His wins above replacement, though, for being in the booth, I don't know. Probably not even a 1.
Yeah.
But I do like the thought of having somebody up there that you trust to at least know what they're seeing.
Yeah, man, he's, I put him in the same basket as Zach Arnett last year, Jim Leavitt, whatever.
He had more success than Zach Arnett in his life at what he does. He was better calling offenses than Zach Arnett ever dreamed of being.
His star faded, though, man. He was
not
it.
A great head coach.
Yeah, he was it. He was the goods. And then,
but I think he knows what he's doing on offense. He's clearly didn't run a program well, not a big time program,
right.
And he was only really at Houston for 2 years. So who knows what that would have what would happen there if he'd have stayed there. But I do think we trust his offensive acumen is all.
Yeah.
And I like having him in the booth. I like him telling Norvell what to do.
And I don't know, man. I don't think Mike's going to change anything, man. Mike's going to want the ball to open up the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's going to go for it on 4th and manageable. Mike. I don't know. I haven't seen any. I shouldn't say see because we haven't been at practice all that much. But there hasn't been anything with his demeanor, the way he's talked, the way he's projected about this team that makes you feel like he has any grand, what am I trying to find the correct word for? What's the word? Reform. Yeah, it's not like there's not any great reform that he is going to implement. I think he trusts in who he is. Listen, man, in the midst of the 2024 carnage, he had I don't want to say gall, that's rude. He had the confidence and the swagger still amidst all that nonsense to remind everybody that, like, listen, if it makes sense for us to go get another person to call plays, we'll do that. But I've been doing this for a long time and I've been pretty good at it. It's fair. That was accurate, but I don't know if that was the right time and place to be saying that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. What could he possibly? Yeah, I don't know. I would like to maybe sometimes start with the football in the first half. But I get it. I don't know. Maybe some analytics nerd's going to say that, well, technically, if you get the ball and start the second half, you usually end up getting more possessions. And,
well, you definitely would. That. That's, you'd have to be a nerd to know that. If you get the ball to start the second half, you're going to get more possessions than if you don't in that half. But it probably evens out where you get the same number no matter what. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think, as far as I can tell. Does it go to that?
Corey, sorry to interrupt you, but doesn't he have to change? He cannot be who he's always been.
I think these guys have a lot of confidence in who they are to get to this point. I think the fact that he won an ACC championship, got to Florida State as a head coach, he doesn't think it was an accident. It wasn't an accident. He earned this. He earned the right to be the Florida State head coach. He won a conference title at Memphis, won a conference title at Florida State, made 2 New Year's Six bowl games in the span of 4 years with 2 different programs as a head coach, on top of what he did as an OC. He has a lot of confidence in himself. And I think 2024, 2 years removed from it, he probably tells himself, there was so many other things that went wrong. That's an anomaly. That's not who I was. That's not who I am. That's not that's not what Florida State is. And then last year he throws it all at Gus. That was all Gus's fault. I didn't know that was Gus's offense, not mine. I think he's going to do I think he's going to do call plays exactly like he's always called plays. Right or wrong, if he goes down, he goes down doing what he's always done.
I don't even know if I'm that bothered by that, or just does he have the bad cop assertiveness, alpha, whatever you want to call it, to really hold these guys' feet to the fire? I think there was a lot of 2024 looking back on it where, with the portal being the way it was, there was a lot of massaging people's egos to keep people happy and having to pay them and having to be involved in all that. And then, like we were told, or it was kind of presented to you, Florida State fan, that we're going to take a lot of this off of his plate. We're going to have a personnel department. We're going to have a GM, an assistant GM. They're going to handle all that. He's just going to focus on day-to-day, instilling culture, putting his scheme back in, improving on it, and being a head coach. I think part of that's you have to really have a different level of accountability, a little bit of more edge that he was chasing last year. Like, you need to have that as the head coach, just on a day-to-day basis with accepting things. There's some things that probably were acceptable. I'm not even talking about behaviors, but production or accidents in practice, mistakes in practice. I just don't know. Again, we were out there for two practices for a total of 7 periods, and I really wasn't keeping that much tabs on Mike. But I remember some of the observations made from the rest of our staff was like, yeah, Mike is, his usual boisterous self and running back and forth and really involved. It's like, all right, man, like, I don't know. I'd like I get it'd be weird at age 40, whatever he is, year 7 at this institute, year 6, to completely change and become somebody that you're not. But what has happened to you the last 2 years has to change your outlook on what it means to coach, how to push people, how to hold your coaches accountable, and how to hold your teammates and your players accountable. Something you cannot simply trust your process and just put your head down and put in the work, because work works. And I know what it looks like. No way, man. No way. And I hope he tells us when he's in Charlotte. I hope we can ask him at that press conference before the game, what's changed in you? Please tell us what changed, because something had to have.
But I feel like that question we were asked, I don't disagree with any of that, was more of just about game day. And I don't know what he's going to change on.
Well, his approach to game day or play calling, I guess. Oh, yeah, maybe I went off on a tangent.
Not his approach to the program or being a head coach, because, yeah, he better have changed a bunch of stuff. Also, I'll be okay, Aslan, if we get rid of the cash downs. Like, if that's the biggest change he makes, media can't watch practice anymore, but you kept this. Like, get rid of that too then. Like, if the media watching practice doesn't matter that much to you, which is fine, your prerogative, the cash down, rubbing your fingers together, that Nick Saban don't do that, man. Kirby Smart doesn't do it. No national championship. Cignetti doesn't do anything with his face or fingers the whole game. No national championship head coach is doing this stuff. So be done with it. It's high schoolish.
I just don't like it because Jeff Collins was doing it at Florida in 2015 when we were playing them, and I thought he looked like a clown, kind of. So I don't.
Cash down nonsense. Yeah. Don't need it. Don't need it.
All right, 2 more, but let's go fast. Hit 55. Buongiorno. Of the recent trends in college football, it's to separate the football program from the university to form an LLC. Michigan State, LSU, recent examples. This way, people can invest in the program and have some ownership. Do you see FSU going this way? I'd say
I don't know.
60-40, yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know is it, why wouldn't you do this, I guess? Listen, and I don't like the way the sport has devolved. I don't think it's evolved at all. It is devolved. I do not like the way it is devolved. But yeah, it's probably a little bit of an easier sell to go to these people. You're asking for huge sums of money to help acquire 19-year-old kids, 19-year-old young men. Give us $200,000 to go get this running back. Oh, he hurt his hamstring in preseason camp. He's not going to really be good for us at all this season. I would be pissed off. And I get, if you got $200,000 to give, it might affect us the way $2 does. But that's still a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So at least if you give money that then opens up the ability to acquire more. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, Corey. It's like if you give like $100,000 to LSU, you can then tap into, I don't know if like a stock buyback would be the way you would compare it to, but like you can pull from some of the equity that the athletic department ends up having. Like they're giving you this avenue to give us money up front and then to kind of like get something on the back end, which again, I might be explaining this in way too simplistic terms. That isn't completely the spirit of what this is, but I can't imagine why you would not do that other than like it's just a bad look. But again, I'd rather give you money and then be able to get something back from it other than like for the love of the game so I can watch my favorite team go 8-4, and be pissed off in October.
Wouldn't that be something to watch them go 8-4? Yeah, no opinion. I have no idea. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or I don't have an opinion on that happening. I have no opinion on how likely it is to happen.
All right. Get a chip on your shoulder. Get an opinion on this. Take a stance. Noel Sean. Does it bother you when fans of random non-rival teams, let's say Arkansas, Tennessee, or Ohio State, trash FSU fans or claim we're the worst fan base? I'm always thinking, have you met Florida or Miami fans? I think FSU fans are passionate and pretty knowledgeable. Most have real ties to the school, and for some reason, criticism from completely unrelated fan bases gets under my skin more than it should. Interesting.
That is interesting. I don't know. I would say that.
Can I go first?
Yeah, go.
Real quick.
Go.
I think this, to me, Corey, it seems more indicative of being online. I don't know, maybe you live in Arkansas, maybe you live in Knoxville, but I would think most folks, and I know by looking at the data, most folks that listen to this show are in the state of Florida. So if you're dealing with a lot of like Arkansas fans, I don't think there's a lot of them in Palm Beach County. I could be mistaken though, but I get it. Online, it's a completely different animal. I love our fans. I think we are a great family. We are passionate. We are loyal. We do understand our traditions. We understand the sport. The entire scope of everything. Ohio State fans are arguably the worst. Florida fans are right behind them. I don't know, man. I don't like Miami fans, but there's part of me that I just respect that they realize they're completely in the sauce of who they are. They're just, you go down to Miami, you go to that game every 2 years, and you walk through that parking lot, you're like, they're completely stereotypical of what we've created, this caricature of the Miami fan as a rival. Like, oh, they're this way, they're that way. Yeah, man, you go down there and you're like, yep, pretty much. There's 3% of them that are extremely high value, like extremely wealthy, that are like really old Florida. The rest are like, no, they're not. They're annoying.
They lean into it. Yeah.
Yes.
But yes, the randomness would, that would be bothersome if you let it bother you, but don't. I mean, especially an Arkansas fan, what in the world would they say about Florida State, or even the Florida State fans? And I would say this, the thing I've learned the most, because I grew up hating Florida, as Aslan did, grew up hating Miami. What you realize is some fan bases lean more towards jerks than others, but every fan base has thousands of jerks, just horrible people.
Not Nebraska, though.
Even Nebraska has some people that are just horrible. You wouldn't pee on them if they were on fire. But they also all have really cool, great people that are kind and polite and valuable members of society. So just know that every fan base has people that suck and people that don't. Except for Florida State, y'all are all awesome. Hadn't met a bad one yet.
All right, we did it. We made it to the end. Time to announce the winner. Corey, if you could, please provide us some power.
Yay.
Thank you. It's been generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Follow CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. Every weekly winner goes into an end-of-month drawing for a Cummins gift bag, and then ultimately an end-of-year giveaway, which we're still working on. That's my onus. When I say we, I always say Aslan's working on. I'm trying to figure out what we can do because Cummins does enough. They're awesome. All we ask is you go follow them on Instagram, and if you're in the market for a generator, look at Cummins first. Look at Cummins often.
What about a Warchant cruise? Throwing that out there.
All right.
Throwing that out there. Everybody like E. coli. What do you get on cruises these days? What's the bacteria that you're always worried about?
I think you're right. Maybe E. coli, not salmonella. Yeah, like norovirus.
There you
or
go.
Something.
Perfect.
Anyway,
That sounds good. Bird flu.
We did have a brainstorming session about maybe doing some kind of boat to Nissan Stadium in Nashville.
Oh, wow. Shooting way ahead. Is that we don't even know if there'll be college football by then. But yeah, we're aiming towards 2028. All right. Okay, that would be fun. Like a tailgate on a boat before that game?
Yeah.
Is there a river right there where we can park it? Oh, man, that's awesome. Sign me up. I'm there. I'm doing it. I'm not going to take the boat the whole way, but I'll sit on it when I'll go and stand on it and drink when it docks.
Yeah, it's not as illustrious as Knoxville, but there is a river, the Cumberland River, I think it is. It goes through Nashville, and there's charter boats, and they do like party boats and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see. Who knows? That's so far away. We got to do something probably for the end of this football season. Anyhow, I went on a tear there on the Island Chief question, but I didn't even answer the question he asked me. So let's go to PJ Knowles 09. He laid the bait. We took it. I think that was probably the question that did generate the most discussion here for us, and probably will online as well. He's basically saying, if you all fear that we're not going to be much improved, tell us why. What position group has no chance to do what last year's team did or exceeded? And it's like, well, they have every chance to do that. So
last year's team was unlucky a little bit. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe get a little luckier, too. They're due for some luck. They're due for some close wins, and they might have more talent from top to bottom.
Okay. We got one more show for you folks this week, and then we're into game week. We get Mike Norvell later this morning. Check out warchant.com. Corey's going to type everything up as he says it, and then
also,
there'll be a story.
Jack Whaley. We get Jack Whaley after Mike Norvell. He comes into the auditorium. We get no players, by the way. Somehow Florida State's dialed it down to one player a day, and then today we get no players, just Norvell. But whatever, we're in game week. They're about to take the next 3 days off, so we'll do what we can. But we do get U.S. amateur champ Jack Whaley after Mike Norvell, so that's fun.
Hey, man, I mean, like, well, I guess you couldn't get Brooks Koepka to come after he won a major.
Yeah, he's on Florida. This kid's about to start Florida. I mean, school starts in a few days.
Congrats to Jack. All right, we're done. Thanks for watching and listening. Subscribe, thumbs up, 75% off sale still going strong. Follow CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. That's Corey Clark. I'm Aslan Hajavani. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this edition of Wake Up Warchant presented by Cummins.